Do you have this strong intuitive feeling that you are just destined to build a business and a life that stands out amongst the rest, but you just don't know how to get there? I feel you. I've been there, and I can see that you are another fellow flamingo just waiting to take flight. My name is Megan Shallow, social media guru and founder of BNL Media Consulting, and this is exactly what I have done through building my own beautiful empire that has become a unicorn in the social media management world, as well as a safe space for entrepreneurs to feel empowered with their digital marketing. All of this was founded on the basis of 3 magical words: breathe, nourish, and love. Are you ready to learn how to be that entrepreneur who shows up online and offline with confidence, has a business that makes an impact in this world, and lives a life full of connection, love, prosperity, and joy? If the answer is yes, then let's go. Hello. We are back for another episode on Fly Flamingo Fly with your host, Megan Shallow. And today I would say is an inspirational hit. It does wrap around business a little bit. And for me, inspiration and business building come really close together, especially with the way that I have found to build my business. I love the title of this is Let Your Spirit Lead the Way in 2022. And that is something that I really love. And there was this quote that I heard from a podcast, and it said, "Your spirit is a part of you that feels like hope." And that resonated for me so much, especially because of the last 2 years and everything that we've been going through. And there hasn't been a lot of hope. There are certain areas of my life where I feel hope the most, and it is definitely in business and in relationships. And so this quote really resonated with me when I heard it a few weeks ago. One of my mentors within the Living in Balance seminars space, her name is Brenda, and she shared this podcast with me that was with Carolyn Miss and Oprah on her Soulful Sundays, and the quote just landed. And when I say landed, it didn't just make me feel good in my brain. There's sometimes where things just get said and it just goes thunk, and it finally shifted something inside you. That's what happened with this quote for me. And I've learned how to master this and things going thunk inside. I've noticed that's when the power happens. And I've mastered this through the Living in Balance space. A lot of you will hear me mention it because it is just so close to my heart. And it is definitely where I learn all of these things that continue to arise, and the wisdom that I share through my story of building my business. And I love when it happens. I love when that thunk happens. It finally makes sense. I've been hearing it over and over and over again, and you read it in the books and you do all the things, but then all of a sudden something shifts inside, and that's when the magic happens. And your spirit is a part of you that feels like hope. That went thunk for me. And I mean, at the end of the December, that was when I heard this quote, and I was feeling pretty heavy, not physically, but energetically. It was as if I hit a wall and I couldn't get over it. Like I just kept hitting it and falling back down. And this quote is exactly what I needed to hear. And I realized the hope feeling, which is that feeling of like the spirit coming alive inside, it was gone. And so I've been pulling out all the tools in my toolbox to reconnect with that spirit that brought BNL to life in the first place. I remember when I started this business, and I started even the blog before this business, I could just feel something inside lighting on fire. Sparks were going off. I just knew this was the path for me. Didn't know how I was going to get there, how I was going to get here. And I just knew that it was what I was meant to be doing next. And the creativity came alive so fast, and I was so excited to learn and so excited to do things. And every morning I was just so excited to keep going and keep building, and I didn't feel stuck. And so I pulled out all the tools, and I was using all the tools at the time. And so I have these tools in my toolbox, and I'm excited to share them with you today. But before, I want to say, when I say spirit, some others may say intuition, some may say soul or creative genius. Basically whatever light that is inside you that brings you to life, that's what I'm referring to. And you can call that whatever feels right for you. And whatever makes you wake up in the morning feeling easy and excited, and you just can't go to bed at night because you are just so lit up and ready to do life itself, that's the energy that I'm talking about. That if you use this energy to lead the way in 2022, Your business will not only grow, but your life will grow. Your dreams will start manifesting in ways that you didn't expect. And everything that you know your future is meant to look like will start to fall into place with ease. So I am going to challenge you to let your spirit lead the way in 2022. And I'm going to share with you the tools that I use in order to keep that spirit alive. And especially when I get into those heavy states, what I really use in order to wake up internally. So when I am in that heavy and uninspired place, my business doesn't grow. It just stops. I mean, it doesn't stop. It just stays stable. And in my head, I know what I should be doing next. I know I should be, setting up email marketing and doing more social posts. And I've got this checklist of things in my head that I know I should be doing in order for my business to grow. But I don't, nothing moves. I can't move forward. I physically feel like there is a heavy rock holding me down and not letting me do these things that I want to do. And if the feeling were laid out in a comic strip, you would have a photo of a brain dragging my heart and soul along behind them to keep things going. And that dragging feeling is so real. I experience it. Sometimes I'll experience it once a month. Sometimes I'll experience it every quarter. Sometimes I won't experience it for a whole year, but that's rare for me. And I do think this is an opportunity for growth. Every time it happens, it means I'm moving into a new growth phase. And sometimes I can go months without hitting this wall, which is wonderful. But when I do hit this wall, I pull out the tools. I always do. I have to use them, and I reuse them over and over again, and they never fail. So I'm excited to share all of it with you so that you can fly forward as well if you are in a stuck place, or if you start navigating this year and you feel and you do hit a place where you're stuck. That is when you can lean on some of these tools, as well as create your own toolbox if you don't have one yet. And I feel inspired so that you can feel inspired and creative again. And what I've learned as I've continued to grow, when I was by myself and I was a solopreneur hitting these walls, it was okay. Not many people were affected. But now that I have a team surrounding me, when I hit these walls, they are affected, even if they don't know that I've hit a wall, because I'm really good at disguising it. I have a team that's relying on me, and I cannot be the leader that I want to be, and I cannot be the leader that they need me to be to make the decisions I need to make and to have the energy to allow my team to continue to thrive and feel supported and grow, unless I am in a place where my spirit is leading the way. So now I'm going to share with you my tools, and I hope maybe some of them might help you if maybe you're in that stuck place right now. And I also hope that you do build your own toolbox. Maybe get out a piece of paper, open up your phone, your notes app on your phone, and start writing down things within these. I've kind of segmented it because my brain likes to work in this way into different kind of items. And then under those items are sub items. So for me, the first thing to get out of a stuck place is to go back to the books. And I always go back to specific books that really I read when I first started this business. They just really landed for me, and they helped me build everything that I have built today. And here are the 4 books that I've got for you. And there's, of course, many more. I have a whole bookshelf, but these ones I always read over and over again. So number 1 is The Go-Giver, a constant reminder of inspiration and how to build and be a leader. Then I have Rise, Sister, Rise, which really wakes up that soul piece for me and reminds me of that spiritual side that I love so much and value within myself. And then there's this new book called The Artist's Way. If you have not opened up this book yet, I highly recommend. It was built before technology, so you can tell with some of the challenges, you're like, that's just not feasible in a tech world that we live in. But for the most part, it is wonderful. And it has really, for me, The Artist's Way has opened up my creative units in very, very unique ways. And then, of course, The Magic and the Secret. Every time I read those books, something wakes up and I'm reminded of the bigger picture and the power of energy and how it can attract things to us rather than us having to feel like we have to force our dreams into reality. So that's the books. I mean, there's so many. Would love even more book recommendations, but those are my 4 that I always go back to in times of struggle, in times of being stuck. I pull them off the shelf. They've all been very well read, you can tell. And I would highly recommend. We'll definitely link them in the show notes so you can go take a look. I think they're all available on Amazon, and I hope that maybe you pick one of those to have in your repertoire. And then next, fun activities. Where there is joy, there is success. Where there is joy, there is light. And where there is joy, there is so much connection to your inner self and that spirit. So for me, like my activities are pretty simple. Especially like there's a few that I will pull out like really quickly if I need to. So if I'm having a really bad day, you can guarantee that I am going to walk over to my Starbucks that's right down the street, grab a grande, decaf, sometimes a half calf, depending on how I'm feeling, latte, soy latte, and a Beyond Meat breakfast sandwich. Like, I don't know why, but this combo just makes me feel so good and so aligned with myself. And normally I can bounce back for the rest of the day after I've done that, which is super fun and exciting and super cheap. It's only like $11. And so I have a Starbucks routine. I do love supporting local, but there's something about the Starbucks experience that just brings me so much joy. And also their coffee doesn't make me go crazy. So that is why I do that. I love the experience with the brand and everything about it. And that is my joy activity that is super simple fun, especially during the workday when I have to get other things done. Then, of course, I have my Banyan Books adventure. So for those that are in Vancouver, you know Banyan Books. It's a very spiritual bookstore. I love it. I always go in there and just wander the aisles and see what books pop out of me. And then I buy them. I'm the best customer ever. And then I usually buy a journal. And those Banyan Books experiences always leave me feeling more connected to myself, because when I walk in there, I really allow my intuition to guide what I'm going to get rather than thinking about what I'm going to buy. So that I've discovered many awesome books that way. It's a great practice for me of using my intuition to allow things to gravitate towards me. And I've never had a bad experience at Banyan Books. So I always go there. And then, of course, when I need to on the weekends, rather than staying home and watching Netflix, live music events. And of course, live music events have definitely been something that have been but harder to come by in the last couple years, but they are starting back up again. So that is something moving into 2022 that I'd love to even enjoy more of. And I love live music. I love watching others use their creativity, watching others stand out and be brave amongst a crowd of people, and just singing their voice inspires me to do the same within my life. So live music events, love them. So grateful to have some friends who are musicians. So that's always a great excuse. And it's a great way to connect with that side of me that I love. And I'm still trying to explore with music in my own way, which is another conversation for another time. And then, of course, I love swimming. I also love grocery shopping without restrictions. Let me go to all the grocery stores. It brings me so much joy. I have so much fun. And of course, dancing. Dancing is something that I've brought back into my life only recently, specifically pole dancing. If no one has ever tried that, it is the best workout you'll ever have. I loved weightlifting. I also loved dancing and yoga. And I found that this kind of is the balance of all the things. And it really makes me step into my confidence and allows me to fully feel my strength, both physically and mentally. And so those are some fun activities. They're not complex. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people try to overcomplicate what is supposed to be fun. And your definition of fun is very different from that blog post that says 10 fun things to do in your city. So you get to decide what's fun. You get to decide what lights you up. You get to decide what makes you laugh. You get to decide all of these things. So I definitely recommend writing a list out so you know that you can pull on these, whether it's small or a little bit more adventurous, that it brings you to a place of joy. And of course, turning towards those with unconditional support, writing down a list of people who you know you can surround yourself with, and it's easy to be around them. It's fun. It wakes up that light inside you. It makes you feel like you're a teenager just chilling with your friends. For me, I've got my Living in Balance women. I can go to them with anything and there is no judgment. There's just a space to say things out loud. And I love that support. My family, of course, my dog, my sister's dog, and the amazing friends that I've come to have in my life, especially as I've moved back closer to home, all of those people allow me to just feel like me rather than the business owner, or like that identity can feel like a really heavy weight sometimes. And so surrounding myself with people where I just feel like me, as if I was someone that didn't own an amazing business and was doing all the things. Sometimes I like to feel like I'm 18 again and I'm just hanging out with friends and being myself. And I'm actually a very introverted, quiet person, and having that opportunity to just be quiet and laugh and chill with people is something that I don't allow myself a lot of time during the week to do. So turning to those that make you feel like you're completely yourself and you don't have to be anyone else, that is what you want to be around. That is how you're going to connect to your spirit in that way. And then number 4, decluttering. Oh gosh, this one's huge for me. I will, if I'm feeling stuck and I've hit that wall, normally the first thing I'll do is I will clean. I'll clean up my computer. I'll clean up my home. I'll clean up my phone. I'll just get rid of as much extra stuff as possible so it's not fogging up my brain, and that I can get clear and like really connect to that spirit self. And then last but not least, retreat. Retreat away from everything. Really connect with yourself. If that means going to a yoga retreat or a wellness retreat, going off the grid. I'm a huge fan of off the grid Sundays, turning your phone off for 24 hours. And the only people you talk to are the ones that live in your house and that you cross paths with by chance, allowing serendipity and synchronicities to align, and keeping your phone off allows that all to happen so that your spirit can guide you with where you want to go that day. If it means your spirit's guiding you to hang out on the couch for 8 hours and binge watching a Netflix show, that's what it's doing. Maybe it's also guiding you to go to the park with your dog, and you would have forgotten about doing those fun things because you would be on your phone or accidentally doing work or all those things. So retreat. I love doing this piece. I'm a huge fan of yoga retreats, wellness retreats, off the grid, and of course, traveling solo. All of those things really allow me to reconnect with that fire inside that's super excited and ready to rock and roll. So those are some of my tools. I mean, I feel like now that I've written this out, I'm like, I want to add more. But right now, I think that's a really good starting point, especially as we're coming into January. The first 2 weeks are kind of like really exciting and everyone's goal oriented. And then all of a sudden things will start to die and that wall will start to come up because Christmas is a lot. The holidays are a lot and everyone gets tired and we start to dive into the depths of the winter, and spring is not as close as we'd like it to be yet. So make your toolbox. Allow your spirit to lead the way in 2022 and watch what happens. The plans that you may have put down on paper may not unravel, but that's okay, because that was what your mind was telling you to do, but your spirit's actually wanting to tell you to do something very different. And most likely it's telling you to do it differently because that's where the huge success is going to come. So trust that. Build a relationship with it. Build a relationship with yourself and watch how everything else just falls into place. So if you liked this episode, please leave a comment or review. I would love to hear from you. And if you haven't followed us on social media yet, go find us at BNL Social. That is where we will launch all of our podcast reminders for you, as well as lots of advice and inspiration hits to keep you moving forward throughout this year and, of course, throughout your entire business journey. We are here to support you and to share wisdom with you. And also, I cannot wait for you to meet some of my other Flamingo friends with all of these interviews that we've got lined up for 2022. It's going to be a fun year. You've got this. Let your spirit lead the way and just trust that you know deep down what to do next, and pull out the toolbox and have fun. That's what we're here for. That's why we built these businesses. We built these businesses for more time, more fun, more love, more joy. So enjoy it. Let's go. Okay. I hope everyone has a great afternoon, morning, weekend, wherever you're at when you're listening to this. And I cannot wait to see you again on the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Fly Flamingo Fly with BNL. We are so grateful you stopped by, and we hope that something from today's conversation ignited the inspiration you were looking for so that you can keep moving forward towards the life of your dreams. This podcast was produced by BNL Media Consulting with the amazing help of Podigy Podcasts. We'd love to hear your takeaways from this episode, so be sure to leave us a review, as well as give us a follow on Instagram at BNL Social. If you need any help with your social media marketing, feel free to visit our website at www.bnlmediaconsulting.com, and we would be more than happy to support you. We hope you have an amazing day, and we cannot wait to connect with you again next time. Have a good one, everyone.